Hi everyone, this is Eva again. I am the owner of Blooming Beats Kitchen and I'm a business and leadership coach. And I made this 3-part video series about the mistakes that we make when we grow our business. And these mistakes apply to any size of business. Okay, you can be a solopreneur and you can have 10 employees, it applies. So the mistake number 1 is not focusing on growing yourself as an effective and powerful leader. And I want to share with you a little bit about my story here. So I don't know if you know this about me, but a few years ago, I was a health and wellness coach, and I coached close to 5,000 people, mostly online, around their health. And out of that came my passion, or came the idea of opening a restaurant. And so I did. And I was not prepared for what it took to lead a team of people and expand my business in that way. And so what you would see me doing every time I came to the restaurant, I would walk in frustrated. I would walk in, oh my God, this wasn't done, that wasn't done. I would be constantly overwhelmed. I would be doing everything in my business. There was no systems around anything. I would be doing the ordering, I would be doing the hiring, the recruiting, the firing. I'd be doing all the marketing, including all the newsletters, all the social media, everything. I'd be serving, I'd be cooking, I'd be making the menu. It was straight up crazy. I was overwhelmed. I was working all the time. And where was this coming from? I did not know how to be effective with people. Every time I try to delegate something, I'd tell somebody, hey, why don't you try doing ordering? Then we wouldn't get a bunch of stuff. And then I'd be like, see, I just have to do it all by myself. Or I would just step outside out of the restaurant for a couple of days, which didn't happen very often. Then it would get a bad Yelp review or something. I'd be like, oh my God, see, I just need to be here all the time. I'd be playing this combo of being a victim of my business and being a martyr, while at the same time accusing my staff of not doing their job and acting like I was the only one who knew what was going on there, and totally disempowering them. And it didn't matter how many highly qualified people I hired. It did not matter. I created, by that way of being and acting, I created a bunch of victims. See, when you act that way, when you act like everybody around is a fool and an idiot, like I was, what you do is you farm a bunch of victims that don't step up, and then you blame them. And then you end up micromanaging them. And then you blame them for it. Oh, it's you have to be micromanaged. So what I did, and it's just, what I was really doing is I was trying to read books and leadership, not really taking my growth too seriously, because I hate to tell you, books are nice, but they don't really cause a real transformation. And it wasn't until I took my growth very, very seriously and got clear that I had to cause some real transformation that the results started coming in. And so where I'm at now, I love being a restaurant owner, but that doesn't mean that I'm there all the time. This week, I'm barely spending 5 to 10 hours there because I have making a difference for people as my main career, and coaching and creating and helping others create their businesses. And what I do at the restaurant, I don't do any of the ordering, hiring, firing, none of that stuff. I told my staff, listen, this is what I love doing. I love coaching my team, and I love talking to the customers in the dining room. That's all. That's it. And that's what I do. And I put systems around everything else. But it took me growing as a leader so that people would be empowered and enabled to do their job. And it took some serious growth. So what I've been doing and what I've been teaching my clients is what I want to talk to you about. And I call it the tomato plant system. Now, I don't know anything about growing tomatoes. Okay, I have never grown a thing in my life. I'm just not big into growing plants because then I forget to water them and they die. By the way, this plant, I don't know if you can see it. You can probably not see it. This plant's been kind of dying on me, and anyway. So I'm doing well with this one. But anyway, so back to my tomato plant system. So to grow a tomato, I assume. Anyway, you got to pull out the weeds and you got to make sure it has enough sunlight. Okay. So it's kind of the same thing with your leadership. and growing your power as a leader. So first of all, you gotta make sure you're pulling all the weeds. And what are the weeds? Those are, number one, your thoughts and feelings, your patterned thoughts and feelings that are holding you back. And if thoughts and feelings, by the way, create ways of being about you that are not productive, that are holding you back. All the frustration and all the overwhelm, all the mistrust that I had, those are examples of something like that, okay? Number two is your self-sabotaging patterns. Those are very hard to detect. Those are very, very hard to detect. But here's the thing. All of us, and there's a whole book written on this by Gay Hendricks called The Big Leap. All of us have an internal thermostat for how much success we can enjoy, how much we can grow our business before we're like, oh my God, that's way too much success. Now let me do something to sabotage myself and bring my success down. And it's really hard to detect, but you got to start uncovering the things that you do, not just with your business, but with your money, with relationships. And you do it by worrying and creating drama, picking up fights. There's so many things you could be doing to bring your business down. Okay, so you got to get really, really facile with what those things are and watching out for them. Otherwise, you're going to sabotage your business the minute it starts growing. Number three is your blind spots. Those are the things you don't know that you're doing, but most likely people around you can see them. This is why you hire a leadership coach, so they can poke those things out to you. And sometimes you gotta really discover these things for yourself. Even if people tell you 100 times, like people are telling me, dude, stop being a micromanager. I didn't see it. I really didn't see it. And so those are the things you really have to start uncovering and transforming. So those are the weeds, okay? Your thoughts and feelings, your self-sabotaging behaviors, and your blind spots. So that's the weeds. Now, what about the sun for the tomato, the right environment? And here's what you do. You really gotta get clear. What's the difference you're out to make in a world? And who's the kind of person you need to be to make that kind of difference? Who are you as a leader? And you get to say. You don't look in the past. You look at who you actually want to be. For me, it's a courageous, powerful, difference-making leader, okay? That's my vision for myself. And then you rehearse, imagine, and act your way into this way of being. In my business fast track program, it's the 12-week program I think I've talked about, but in my program, I actually show people simple meditation and visualization techniques to visualize their way into new ways of being, new desired ways of being and feeling. Because here's the thing, your brain does not know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. You can learn to be a more authentic, more powerful human being purely by visualizing yourself in those situations. So that's one thing you can do. The second thing you must be doing is always pushing your boundaries around your fear and your courage. There's always going to be fear and reasons holding you back. Always. And you have to get systematic with pushing through and pushing through and pushing through and taking the next step and being on the edge. Always being on the edge of your comfort zone and always jumping to the next thing. Because if you're not in that space, you're not growing. And it's essential. So those are the things that you need to be looking at, like growing as a leader. So that's for video part 1, the mistakes you're making as a leader of your business. And tomorrow I'm gonna talk about more mistakes. I'm gonna send out the next video. So stay tuned, and thanks for listening.